I just burped. You're gonna have to cut that out. It was really close to the mic.
Dear listener, today's going to be a good day, and here's why.
Because today we're making it out of Skid Row, and I just heard the dentist was dead. I'm Becca.
And I'm Eni, and this is Sincerely Us, a podcast for the casual musical theater fan. Today is not going well. At all.
Today is not a great day, and here's why. Edie is dead.
I can't speak, and podcasting is just speaking.
Literally, that is our only job. Is to be able to speak and be heard. Because if you're falling in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash?
Or even make a sound? Oh, I'm gonna sneeze again.
Oh, God.
Nope, it's gone.
False alarm?
False alarm. We're good. We're good, people.
Well, Enid, I have big news.
Okay, tell me your big news.
I have a new dream role.
Okay, a new one?
Yeah. And surprise, surprise, it's another boy, because I never want to play girls, apparently. If there is anyone in this country that needs a female Seymour, I am the girl for you. Because I never thought going to see Little Shop of Horrors would literally change my life. And this is me being dramatic again, that's fine. It's literally changed my life. I am obsessed with Little Shop of Horrors.
I guess you liked the show then.
I mean, to put it lightly.
I'm glad it went well.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Like, I had no idea what I was going into. I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I went like about 3 hours away to Cape Cod and saw Little Shop of Horrors at one of the most famous summer stock theaters, the Cape Playhouse. And I saw the most perfect human on this planet, Andrew Keenan Bolger, as Seymour. And I only went to like see him perform because he's one of my favorite Broadway actors, and yet I literally couldn't stop smiling and laughing and like rocking out to Little Shop of Horrors. Because going into it, the only thing I knew was A, there's a plant. B, there's a dentist of some sort. Didn't know how he was into it, but I knew there was a dentist. Actually, I thought Seymour was the dentist before I saw the show. And that the character's name is Seymour. That's all I got.
I think all I knew was Suddenly Seymour. That's because Rachel sings it on Glee.
That's what my friend Katie said. That was the only thing they knew going into it. Because we had a whole conversation on the way down. And they were like, the only thing they knew was the Blaine and Rachel duo from like the last season.
I don't even know. But I remember Suddenly Seymour on Glee.
Yeah.
So did you take your playbill?
Yeah, I did.
Tell me all about it.
Okay, so we stage doored, obviously, because, I mean, I went to go see really good theater, but I also went to see Crutchy from Newsies, since obviously I wanted to meet him. And I took my playbill, and I started my conversation with, this is gonna... Actually, I think I said something like, I don't know how creepy this is gonna be, and he was like, oh? And I was like, I have this playbill, and I showed it to him. Actually, you guys can go look on my Instagram. I posted a picture of us with it, but I was like, I have this playbill, and he's like, where did you get that? And I was like, I saw you in 2007. And then we had like this whole moment of, talking about how that was like his first professional production and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just told him how much that musical in general meant to me, and it was a really cool moment, and he signed it for me, and that is going to be...
That's awesome. I told you it would be a good moment.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you actually took it and you didn't chicken out. And
I definitely almost chickened out.
I would have been so mad at you if you didn't take that playbill with you.
Yeah.
You would have regretted it.
I would have regretted it, especially because it was just so cool to speak with and meet someone that I admired so much, not as like a famous person, but as like someone I like on his Instagram and stuff. He's so kind and so generous and like so sweet.
Yeah. That
I admired him for that, and like how good of a Broadway actor he is, and like obviously Crutchy and Jessie Tuck from Tuck Everlasting. So like, I don't know. It was such a cool moment that I mean, and then at 2 a.m. I got in a car accident, which is fine. But
Oh God.
it's fine. But
Are you're okay?
yeah, fine.
Your friend's okay? No one's hurt?
Yeah, no one was hurt. It was fine. I just got in a fender
Okay,
bender. That was my fault. But whatever. It was just cool to, I don't know, it was such a cool moment because I don't like meeting quote unquote famous people because I'm such like a sensitive and overly emotional person that it was cool that I got to talk to him as someone who has worked in theater and stuff like that. And it wasn't like I was talking to a famous person, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I get you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stage touring is so much fun. Like, I've done it a few times down here. Obviously, I've never been up to New York, but the stage door in Broward, I took my little cousin. We stage doored Anastasia, and the funny part about it is we didn't actually stage door the performance that we went to because it was super late, and her mom was giving us she didn't want to stay.
Right.
Is basically the point. So I ended up driving back up the following weekend so that we could stage door because my little cousin is completely and totally obsessed with the traveling cast of Anastasia right now. It's just I never know what to expect. The actress who played the grandmother in Anastasia, came up to me and gave me a hug and was like, whatever your dream is, just make sure you're following your dream and you're doing whatever you can to and I just started crying. I'm like, I didn't even I wasn't expecting that, and some of they're all just so nice and down to earth and just normal people. I know that in the grand scheme of things they're maybe not as famous as pop singers or anything like that, but to a musical theater fan to meet them is a huge deal. So I love stage touring. I think it's a great experience for anybody.
Yeah, I told him all about how I did Newsies with my musical theater class this year, and he took me by my hand and thanked me for being a teacher for kids nowadays. And I literally said to him, I was like, I'm about to start crying.
Did you sob? Because I would have sobbed.
No, and I just looked at him and he was like, thank you so much for teaching the future of musical theater. And I was like, oh my God.
That's amazing.
Because I didn't expect that. I don't know. It was just one of those moments where I was like, oh, I don't know. Theater people are so down to earth. It's so, I remember, this is kind of similar, but I remember an interview with Emma Watson where she was talking about how less famous movie actors and stars are in London and over in Europe than they are in America. And it's kind of the same kind of idea because, they don't get mobbed. There was only 3 other people there that were excited to meet him and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was so chill. I've only stage doored twice. The other time was also in Massachusetts when I saw Book of Mormon. And all I wanted to do, I didn't know of anyone that was in the cast, but all I wanted to do was meet the guy that played Elder Cunningham and just thank him for such a wonderful performance because he was so incredible.
That's awesome.
That's all I wanted to do. And also we had a moment where I looked at him and I was like, are you wearing Warby Parker glasses? And he's like, yeah. He goes, are you wearing Warby Parker glasses? And we realized we had the same glasses on.
That's adorable.
Yeah. He had the frames that I have on right now, but I wasn't wearing those, but I told him something like that. I told him I had those glasses. And I've never stage doored any time in New York City because I have mixed feelings about stage dooring. Sometimes I feel really creepy. I feel it's different in New York City where there's an area for it.
Yeah.
But at this Playhouse, it was all the way in the back and where their actual dressing rooms are. And I felt really creepy being do you know where the stage door is? So, the only other time was when I saw How to Succeed, with Darren Criss in New York. But the crowd was ridiculous that we didn't even try. We were all the way in the back because a lot of the people that were in the front left during intermission. So they bought tickets and then left during intermission. And I was like,
what?
Yeah. I was like, that's not I'm here to see Darren Criss make his Broadway debut. I'm not here to just meet him.
Yeah. To get a picture and sign.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird. It's funny because me and you are very, very much into musical theater. And sometimes I forget that most people aren't.
Yeah.
So when I was out at a restaurant with Christy, and Alex Lacamoire walked in, and I
Lackety
had a
lack.
panic attack. I had a panic attack, and like she had to talk to him for me because I
Yeah.
couldn't form words.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it was a whole thing, and like we finally like I finally kind of calmed down and like thanked him for being amazing, and took pictures with him and whatever. And then the owner of that place was like, "Who is that?" And I was just like, "Have you ever heard of Hamilton
Or
or
Wicked.
In the Heights or Wicked or?" And they're like, "Yeah, Hamilton sounds familiar." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Great.
So yeah, it's so funny, like to me at least, that for me it was like the best day of my life. I
Yeah.
was like crying. I was super excited. He was the sweetest. His wife is the sweetest, and other people were just like, I don't know who that was. I'm like, awesome, cool, thanks. I'm leaving now. Bye.
Yeah, and I've always had, like, the biggest Jonas Brothers fan I probably never want to meet them because of how famous they are. Like, that's just doesn't sound like a good time to me. Like, I never want to be in a meet and greet that's like 30 seconds long. Like that, it's different if it's at like Broadway Con would be cool because like it's, I don't know, it's just different. But I never want to be like that person that doesn't treat the person like a person. Does that make sense? So
I do. Yeah, it does. Speaking of which, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
But my mom just met Jodie Benson on Saturday.
No.
And yeah, so it was super con down in Miami this weekend. And I don't go just because it's a lot of people and I get very claustrophobic and I have really bad anxiety around lots of groups of people who are close together.
Yeah, understandably.
So, they tried to get me to go because, I mean, it was Jodie Benson. But, I didn't. I let her go, and she went and like sent me pictures and called me and said she was the nicest and she was she was such a cool person. She was down to earth and she's Ariel. I'm like, Mom, she's like your age. Like, stop. And she's like, actually, I think she's a little younger than me. I'm like, okay, weirdo. But yeah, and then they met a couple people from the office, and they met I don't know, they met a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and they were just having like the greatest time. But I was so worried that because Jodie Benson, I mean not anymore, but Jodie Benson's a big name. Like I was super worried it was just gonna be like, okay, get your picture and get out, and
Right.
like apparently no, like she talked to my mom for a while, and like it was super cute, and my mom was super happy.
Oh, good for Wendy, the queen, Wendy.
I know. My mom's obsession with Little Mermaid knows no bounds, by the way.
Yeah, none.
That's my mom's favorite Disney princess, mainly because that came out in 89, which means when I was born, it was like out on VHS and stuff. It was a couple years old already. And that was one of those VHSs that my mom had to buy like 4 copies because I burnt them because I learned how to like stop, rewind, play, stop, rewind, play, stop, rewind, play. So Little Mermaid was on at all times in my house. So it just kind of evolved from being my 2-year-old self's like favorite princess to my mom's favorite princess, and has been since forever. She loves The Little Mermaid. I mean, she got engaged in front of Ariel at Disney World.
Dude,
so
I love those pictures.
Yeah. They're the cutest.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I would love to meet Jodie Benson. I don't know. I don't want to be one of those people that treats them like, I don't think your mom did by any means because I know how she is, but I never want to be one of those people that treats them like an object because, I watch so many YouTubers and stuff that talk about how like people who don't know who they are still take a selfie with them because someone else recognized them. And I don't know, I just never want to be that person that only takes a selfie with them because I know they're famous or like treats them that way. Like
that was totally Christy with Alex Lacamoire.
Oops.
She's like, I'm like, oh my god, that's Alex Lacamoire. She's like, who is that? And then I like pulled up playbill.com. I'm like, this is Alex Lacamoire. And she's like, oh my god.
Well, it's different. She actually like knows Hamilton and stuff though. So it's not, she just didn't know who he was. Like,
no.
It would be like, I don't know, like you not knowing who, let's just say you didn't know who Jodie Benson was and then realized who Jodie Benson was and then was like, oh, I gotta meet her.
I mean,
can you not imagine a world where you don't know
I
who
can't
Jodie Benson
imagine
is?
a world where I don't know who Jodie Benson is. But sure, we'll use that as an example.
And like when I met Chris Colfer at one of his book signings, and
You did what now?
Oh, you don't know this?
No?
Yeah, I met Chris Colfer in 2017, I think. Maybe 16, 15? I don't know. A while ago. It was when his 4th book was coming out of the Land of Stories series. And I brought all of my books that I had bought of his. Besides, I don't think I had Struck by Lightning with me. I think I just had the Land of Stories with me. And, I mean, like, I wanted to meet him because of Glee, because those stories are too young for me. But, I went and I, like, handed him my books, and I'm like, I'm sorry you have to sign so many. And he literally, like, looked up at me. He's like, You're apologizing because you bought my books? Like, I don't know. I just am very aware that these people are people. And so I always try very hard to be chill and calm. And I would never be like that in front of the Jonas Brothers. So I'm glad.
Just scream and fangirl.
Yeah, like how I was telling you about how I almost met Daniel Radcliffe when I did my job shadow. And I'm glad I didn't, because I just would have cried, and that's not cool. I want to be chill and calm and in control.
I know.
All the time.
But you should have met Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I know. I regret it, but it's fine. I'm just glad that I got to have like I'm glad that I met him a little, like, I'm still obsessed with Newsies, obviously, but I'm glad I met him not during the height of my Newsies obsession, because then I would have, like, it would have been way more than me just seeing someone who I admire. It would have been like, oh my god, that's Crutchy! Oh my god! You know Jeremy Jordan!
Oh my god. He knows Jeremy Jordan.
He does. But it was I don't know. It was just cool for me to tell him, hey, I went to school for theater. Like, I'm not just a musical theater fan. Like, I respect everything, and I know all the hard work that goes into what you did. Yeah, and then he thanked me for being a teacher, and I died.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's why I love theater people.
So how did you like the show, though? Like, how was the show? Tell me about the show.
I was going to say we should talk about it, considering we're 20 minutes in.
I know.
And haven't discussed the topic at all.
Okay, so for the record, I have not seen the show. Mm-hmm. I listened to the original Broadway cast album, the new Broadway cast album, the UK cast album.
West End.
And, thank you. Sorry. I'm all helped up on Dayquil here.
Yeah.
The West End cast album and the movie cast album.
Which one was your favorite?
So I'm in between the West End and the new Broadway cast album. The movie doesn't have enough songs.
Definitely.
And after watching the movie, I see that they cut a lot of songs out. And then it's not that the old Broadway cast album is bad or anything. I like it. I like I think the UK one might be my favorite, the West End one.
Yeah, I didn't listen to I listened to the movie soundtrack and then realized how many songs they cut out before we watched the movie, because Edie and I actually just finished watching the movie like an hour ago. We watched it together.
We did. We watched it on Rabbit.
Yeah. We love Rabbit.
We do.
For those that don't know, it's like a website where you can watch shows together, which is perfect when your best friend lives 3,000 miles away. It's bringing everyone together.
Is it that many miles? It's a lot of miles.
I'm pretty sure it's more, because I'm pretty sure I'm 3,000 from Disney World.
Oh, so add like another 248 miles.
Oh.
Not that you know.
Yeah.
How many miles it is from my house to Magic Kingdom.
Awkward.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So how was the show?
The show, again, I didn't know anything going into it. I knew the Little Shop of Horrors, and that's all I knew. I didn't know any of the other songs. I mean, I knew the tune of Suddenly Seymour, but I didn't know it by any means. And so I went in pretty much as blind as you can be with a show that's been around since the 60s. Well, not the show, but like the movie was around since the 60s.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was a movie in the 60s and then they remade it in the 80s. I just thought it was just the movie in the 80s.
Yeah, I didn't know until I was doing research for this. It's like starring Jack Nicholson, which is crazy. I want to know who he plays.
I gotta look that up. Continue.
Also, I don't even know if it's like a musical or if it's just...
I don't think it is.
Yeah, because the music's written by Alan Menken and he's not that old. Like, he's old, but he's not that old.
I'm sorry, this is another Alan Menken musical?
I mean... Are you shocked?
Not really. Not at all, actually.
He writes all of our favorites. So, no, because Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote the only show that I don't like, so he writes all of my favorites.
You haven't even watched Cats.
And Taylor Swift's gonna be in the new one, so I may have to go see it.
You haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure you've never listened to the Cats album.
Not the entirety of it, but I've heard Memories and I hate it.
That's one song. I mean, yes, grant you, it's the big ballad of the musical, but...
It's the famous one.
Mind you, I'm saying all of this, and I've never seen Cats, but I have listened to the Cast album, and I enjoy it fine enough. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't, outright hate it.
I mean, I just think I don't like the way Andrew Lloyd Webber writes music. I think that's...
My mother has officially disowned you.
I know. Listen, Wendy, I'm sorry. I like Phantom. I do not love it. However, again, I don't really know it as much because, like our friend Ethan Edgehill says, that if you don't like something, why waste your time on it? You don't have to finish it. I mean, he was talking about television shows, but that's fine. We're talking about musicals.
Television shows. Oh, continue. So sorry. I got distracted.
By your thoughts of Breaking Bad because I saw it, flash across your face.
Yeah. It was so good. Oh my god. Guys, I've been sick all weekend, so naturally I binge watch TV when I'm sick. And I watched all of Breaking Bad. And
do you need a Downton Abbey moment for you in your Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I do. It was really good. I highly recommend that show. And yes, I know I'm late. I know many of you listening are just like, that show's been out forever. It is the greatest show on television. This is not news to me. But for those who have not watched it, I highly recommend it. Okay, back to what we were talking about.
Well, Breaking Bad is also one of those things that I just stopped watching because I didn't like it. I got to season 2, so it's not like I didn't put in a valiant effort.
Season 4 was definitely my favorite season.
Maybe I'll retry it. I didn't like Downton Abbey when I first watched it, so here we are. And I'm obsessed.
You're a different person now.
I am, but we can't talk about Downton Abbey again because I'm stressed.
We can't. Okay, so Suddenly Seymour.
Yeah, what about him?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, the show, so for the 5th time, again, I didn't know anything going into it. So when they started singing and especially the style, because I hadn't listened to the soundtrack at all. So when the style started playing, especially the Downtown song, I instantly realized where all of my favorite musicals got their their inspiration from, because a lot of the songs sound like songs from the musicals that I already love that aren't written by Alan Menken. So you can definitely tell that a lot of the songs have pulled inspiration from this, 80s musical.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure as we start listening to more musicals that are older, we'll start realizing that as well from different musicals. But, what songs did you hear that you were like, oh my god, this sounds exactly like XYZ?
I'm not really sure what Downtown sounds like, just that I recognized the, the da 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 da. So it might just be a musical theater trope, that kind of beat.
Yeah.
Or because it's very Motown. So it may just be, it just sounds like Motown. But the song, Somewhere That's Green, sounds just like Ireland from Legally Blonde. Even the way that the new Broadway cast actress sings, she sounds just like, oh my god, why can't I remember that character's name? The one that sings Ireland from Legally Blonde. And then the song, Grow For Me, I don't know why, but it just, Newsies is an Alan Menken musical, but it just, feels to me like a Newsies song, and there's no reason why, but I could picture, it might have been because I saw Crutchy, the first time I heard it was him singing it, but I can just, picture it being, no, it's definitely because I saw Enrique Walter doing it, because it's nothing like a Newsies song. But all I could do was picture Crutchy singing it, so it must be because I saw Crutchy singing it. Never mind. I retract that statement.
Well, we watched the, 1986 movie?
Yeah.
What year did that come out?
86, with Rick Moranis and Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin was great. Steve Martin plays Oren, the dentist, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he's a terrible character. He hits his girlfriend and is a class A jerk.
And a drug addict.
Well, yeah, that too. But he's still Steve Martin, and it was still really hilarious to watch him.
It was weird seeing him so young.
Yeah, I mean, without white hair, because his hair is definitely like jet black in this movie. What else? Rick Moranis is a national treasure, but he cannot sing at all. It was bad. It was bad.
He didn't sound bad in Suddenly Seymour, but you could tell that they, like, fixed his voice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, his voice is just bad. But this movie was very entertaining, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Bill Murray makes a guest appearance, like, he has a cameo in it.
That doesn't add to the plot or the movie at all, except for just Steve Martin and Bill Murray together. Like, that's all it adds.
Bill Murray, like, is one of Steve Martin's patients, I guess, and he's, like, a masochist who likes pain. So, and then Steve Martin is a dentist who became a dentist so he can purposely cause pain on people. Like, so it was just really funny to watch them on screen together. It was hilarious.
Like, that character of the dentist is such, like, when people, I have a pet peeve is when people tell me that life is not like a musical where it's all sunshines and rainbows. I'm like, have you seen any musical ever?
Right.
Besides, like, I was gonna say, like, Hairspray, but Hairspray even is about segregation. Like,
yeah.
Like,
life isn't like a musical.
If someone ever says that to me, I'm just gonna, like, send them a copy of Little Shop of Horrors, because this movie is, like, it is messed up. So, his character was just so interesting to me, and I think it's because no one I know is like that, obviously.
Yeah.
So it was just so funny, especially when he's on the gas. And the guy that I saw, I wish I could remember his name. I'm pretty sure I followed him on Instagram. I can't remember his name, like, right off the top of my head. But the guy that I saw at the Cape Playhouse, he was, like, this is high praise because I enjoyed his performance even more than Steve Martin's. And I think it was because it was live. But his performance was so funny. Like, the physical comedy that you have to have in order to play the dentist or Oren is, I don't even know how to describe it. Well, first of all, he kind of looked like Steve Harrington when he came out with his sunglasses and leather jacket. So obviously I was in.
Speaking of Stranger Things.
Yes.
Have you watched any of it?
No.
It came out.
I haven't seen season 3. I'm aware. I've been a little busy.
Watching Downton Abbey. I know. It's fine. I forgive you. Continue.
And working.
Steve Harrington.
And going to see that. But anyway, he walked out. First of all, he's like 6'4". So the physical comedy was funny anyway because Andrew is like 5'4". And this guy is 6'4". And there was this whole scene because I was sad that they didn't do It's Just the Gas in the movie because that's one of the funniest songs. But when I saw the show, it was so funny because he literally picks up Andrew and throws him in the chair.
Oh my God.
It's so funny because they have a foot difference because we asked him how tall he was and he was like 6'4", and then Andrew was the same size as my friend Katie and they're 5'4". So I was like, this is hilarious. And it's so funny that Seymour is played by such a small human, like across the board, always.
Yeah.
So
well, I think that's so cool the whole demeanor is that he's supposed to be small and like nerdy and like soft spoken. He's supposed to be the complete opposite of the dentist, of Oren. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. I also I didn't think that Audrey was going to be into Seymour before the plant came. Like, I didn't know that it was going to be reciprocated. So I thought that was really cool, how she was into him before Audrey 2 came about. Because I thought it was just going to be unrequited.
Well, I love that that she has low self-esteem, and then she tells him, you have low self-esteem, you should work on that. Like that. I died, like, laughing at that. That's hilarious.
Oh, and we haven't even mentioned the 3, like, narrators, like the Fates from Hercules, which is great. Another Alan Menken. But the 3, I call them the 3 Fates because they remind me of Hercules. But
yeah,
they
the
are
narrators.
they're such funny narrators. Like, they're so ridiculous and have so many costume changes, even in the show. That, I don't know, I think it's cool when you add, like, a narrator that the show's not about. Does that make sense? Kind of like Aaron Burr.
They really had nothing to do with anything that was going on.
No. They were just the Fates from Hercules, which came after this. So Alan Menken was just recycling ideas.
Oh my god. Let's not air his dirty laundry there.
He's still our Lord and Savior. It's fine.
He is. We love him.
Didn't Jesus have faults too?
Sure.
I don't know anything about Jesus.
Neither do I. I thought we established last episode that I'm a very bad Catholic.
The only thing I know is from Jesus Christ Superstar, so.
Fair enough.
Very on brand for me. And I, like, barely know that show. Isn't that an Alan Menken too?
Nope. That's an Andrew Lloyd Webber show.
Wow! I just called myself out.
Oh, that just made my day.
Okay, so obviously back to Alan Menken, because this is basically just an Alan Menken fan cast. Like, I don't know how else. I feel like we should have, like, punch cards or, like, bingo chips for every time we mention Alan Menken.
So is it that different of being a Disney fan cast then? Because
I mean, this was a Warner Brothers production, so it's not like he plays for both teams. Oh, actually. That was a weird way to put that.
That's not the way to say that.
Oh, speaking of, did you see the new news about, like, that girl that's playing The Little Mermaid and how everyone's freaking out about it?
Hate this country. I am so excited for...
Me too!
What is it? Hailey?
I think her name's Hailey Berry, which I thought it was Halle Berry when I first saw it, and I was like, she's a little old for this position. Yeah, I think that her name is Hailey Berry. I'm not 100% positive though.
Yeah, it's
but
Hailey,
I'm so excited.
It's Hailey Bailey? Berry. Bailey.
Yeah, I thought it was Halle Berry when I first saw it, and I was like, she's a little old.
Yeah, Hailey Bailey. I am so excited for her to be Ariel. I love her and her sister. Like, they started on YouTube, and basically, like...
Did they?
Yeah, they're at least that's where I first heard of them. My sister-in-law is, like, super into them and was showing me a bunch of their, like, covers on YouTube, and, like, their harmonies are just insane. And both of them have crazy good voices. They sang America the Beautiful at or whatever they sang, like, not the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, America the Beautiful.
At the Super Bowl this past year.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
that it's the two
everyone's
sisters
going to be happy because she can sing.
Yeah, she can actually sing. That's my point. It's... Everyone is getting upset, and it's so beyond ridiculous. I think she's going to do a great job. I think she has an amazing voice, and I think it's going to be a great show because Alan Menken can do no wrong, and all they did was just add Lin-Manuel Miranda to it, so I'm mad.
And, like, I saw this, like, really funny meme that was talking about, like, how dare you change white roles into people of color roles? That's never gonna work. We can never tell history that way. It'll never win 11 Tonys.
Did you see that funny meme? Was that not a tweet by Tyler Carlin?
Of course.
That I sent you because you're not on Twitter?
No, I know. That was my joke, that it was from Tyler. He's the meme master, obviously.
He is. Yeah, it's so ridiculous how upset people are getting. Like, I don't get it. I just don't. And maybe that's me speaking as someone who lives in a huge melting pot of a city, and, like, maybe it's just, you know, whatever, but I don't understand people's getting so upset about it when I think she's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great production. In reality, I would love for Disney to just stop remaking their movies. But, I mean, we're here. They're doing it. There's nothing I can do to stop it.
But if there's a reason for them to remake it, like adding a black woman as one of the I'm huge.
Oh, absolutely. I'm all in on it.
Yeah.
All in.
Like, this is such a, like, they didn't need to remake Aladdin. They just wanted to and wanted to make money. They didn't need to remake Beauty and the Beast. They just wanted to. They just wanted to make money. But I'm glad that they're changing the story of A Little Mermaid.
For sure. And I'm so excited.
I mean, your boy Lin's in.
I know.
Like, has a hand in it.
I'm so excited. There's going to be a new song. It's going to be great. I know it. Like, I'm beyond excited.
I also saw something else that was like, why is everyone mad? Didn't we realize that Sebastian is literally Jamaican?
He has a terrible Jamaican accent. As someone who is dating a Jamaican, like, it's so bad. But yes, he is a Jamaican crab, apparently. But,
like, a bad caricature of a Jamaican person. But still, like...
I know.
What?
I don't understand everyone getting upset. Like, I really don't. Like, I think...
I have enough representation of me as a white woman. I'm good. We need to, like, step away from the white woman. Especially bringing this back to Little Shop. I hate the character of Audrey. I think she's annoying. I think that she is not a good, like... As someone who's a major feminist, I don't like how she just, like... stands down and all of that. I don't like that her whole character revolves around the two men in her life. She does not pass the Bechdel test. I don't like her. But I recognize her part in the feminist movement, so it's fine.
I just, like, you know, I have so many thoughts on this. I think that people just like to get upset, and it breaks my heart that it's over something so stupid. The movie hasn't even come out yet. They haven't even, like... will be more upset if she can't sing, which I know is not going to be the case. Just like, I'm not upset that, you know, this guy is Middle Eastern. I'm upset that he couldn't sing in Aladdin. Because it's a movie musical. You know, I don't want to get too political or too, you know, crazy on here. I think that everyone who is getting upset is getting upset for the absolute wrong reasons. And that's what I'm going to say about that. And I think she's going to kill it. She's going to be amazing. And the movie's going to be great because it's Disney and they've been killing it lately.
I just want to know why people just feel the need to get upset. Like, who cares? Honestly, it's like, I mean, we literally have a whole podcast devoted around musicals and, like, kind of Disney, even though we're trying not to, but it is. But as people who care so much about this stuff, even we're like, who cares? Like, it's just a movie. Like, it's not the end of the world. Did I love Beauty and the Beast? Not really, even though it's one of my favorite Renaissance movies. And you know what? That's okay.
Why is everyone, like, totally okay that a French town all have English accents?
Right. Why are we okay with the fact that Mina had an American accent in Aladdin?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really sad, the amount of people that are getting upset about this and the uproar that has occurred in the last, 4 days since this happened. And the fact that the news came out, like, on Independence Day and the things that were trending on Twitter were just despicable.
Yeah.
You know, it's heartbreaking, to say the least. And I'm going to leave it here just because, again, I don't want to get... and we've spent a little bit of time on this, but I think she's going to be great. She has an amazing voice. You know, I don't know how she is as an actress. I guess we're going to find out. But I love her voice. I think she's going to bring a great unique quality to the role, and I'm super excited to see her kill it.
But, like, everyone was upset about Hamilton, and it's gonna be fine, people. As someone who loves musicals, specifically Disney musicals, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, people are always going to find something to hate on.
Yeah.
There's always going to be someone out there that's just upset, you know? And I think everyone should just take a step back, give this girl a chance to kill it, and, you know...
And if she doesn't...
be pleasantly surprised when she does.
Or if she doesn't, it'll be fine, because Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin are fine.
They still made an insane amount of money.
Right. It'll be fine. And people are talking about it.
Absolutely. Anyway, what were we talking about? Alan Menken.
Alan Menken.
So this show is really good. I at least from the cast album,
Mhm.
you know, the movie was definitely like a B-list like 80s movie. I loved it. I thought the practical effects of the actual plant were hilarious, and none of the people could sing. So as far as movie musicals go, it is what it is. But I'm glad you got to see it live.
Yeah, I definitely, if I know that the high school around where I teach just did it last year, and I wish that I had seen it. But it's another thing where it's just live theater will never be like even at the same level as movies. Like it's always going to be top tier how I want to experience things. And sometimes
Agreed.
It's just like having to see it to be like, oh yeah. And it's just because I don't see... I mean, I literally just saw Aladdin, and I'm seeing Dear Evan Hansen next week. So this is just, like, a lot and not the normal. But I just... Sometimes you just need to be reminded, like, how wonderful musical theater is. Yeah.
Agreed.
And also, because I just mentioned Dear Evan Hansen, if I ever had a dream cast... I mean, they're not going to revive Little Shop again because they just did it. But if I just need to see Benjamin Levi Ross... Actually, I think it's just Ben Levi Ross, like his stage name. But whatever. I need to see Ben Levi Ross play Seymour more than anything in my life. And I think it's just because he's, like, a cooler version of Rick Moranis. Like, he just... Like, he looks like Rick Moranis, but, like, a hot version.
I could see him as Seymour. I could see a few people as Seymour.
And Seymour's such a good character. He's so interesting.
He is. I love him. I love Rick Moranis, though.
Me
so,
too.
like, watching the movie, like, I was, like, instantly, like, back in as a child, and then into my childhood.
Yeah.
He will always be Wayne Salinsky to me.
Wait.
Also a Disney movie.
His last name is Stalinsky in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
I don't know if there's a T. If it's Salinsky or Stalinsky.
Oh.
No, it's not the same as Teen Wolf. Jesus.
I was just so confused when you said that. I was like, hello, Styles?
Yeah, no, there's no T. It's Salinsky.
Man, so close. Oh, Dylan O'Brien. Anyway, we need to get off this topic before I go into La La Land about the love of my life. So do you have any final thoughts on Little Shop? Like, what you thought of the movie versus the cast album versus anything?
Okay, so I love the cast albums. I'm very into the music. I love how kind of all over the place the music is. Like, it doesn't have, like, one specific... I don't want to say genre, because obviously it's a musical theater genre, but it doesn't have one specific, like, okay, this is, like, a boppy, like, musical.
Like Hairspray.
Or like a Motown musical, or a power ballad musical. Like, it's kind of all over the place. I really like that about it. The movie was okay. It was, again, like, it was just an 80s movie, you know. As far as the musical movie genre goes, it's, you know, it wasn't groundbreaking, I don't think.
Might have been for the time.
Nobody could sing on that. Maybe that's just me speaking as a 20-something-year-old in 2019. But I don't think anyone's voices were particularly amazing. Audrey's voice was terrible. Just like her actual speaking voice, not actually her singing voice, but like her like wispy little like
Marilyn Monroe.
I don't know. It was terrible. It was so bad.
Yeah, I think she was supposed to be like a caricature of Marilyn Monroe. Like, I think that was the idea. Because she had the blonde hair. She had like the, oh, Mr. President, happy birthday to you. Like,
fair enough.
yeah, I think that was her thing, and that just annoys me. So,
all right. What about you?
I loved the movie, and I definitely am buying it on Blu-ray. Like, that's how much I loved it. It's definitely gonna be one that I watch just to, like, feel good, because it was so ridiculous that, like...
It really was.
It was... The thing that I liked about it is that I you know, like, I watch shows like, well, when I watched Game of Thrones, like Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, like very intense television and movies. Well, not so much movies, but definitely television. And so it was nice to just turn something on and just be entertained. And this is totally a millennial thing, but I didn't feel the need to be on another device while I watched it.
Oh, same.
Like, it was engaging.
It really was.
I mean, 2 hours.
It helped that we were, like, on the Rabbit together, so, like, we would laugh or we would comment, like, together, so it was like we were watching it together, which we were. But yeah, no, I didn't pick up my phone or I was definitely into the movie.
Right. And that's kind of I don't know, it was really cool because I tend to not like older media. That's why I'm trying to get into older musicals, but that's what this podcast is for.
That is where we differ, because I will take a black and white movie or even an 80s movie and 70s movie, like, over most of new movies any day.
Yeah, like, I've never even seen, like, White Christmas or any of the, like, classic. I've never seen Singing in the Rain.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, that's why I'm glad that we're doing this podcast, because, like we said in our intro, I am not good. Like, I don't know older musicals besides The Sound of Music.
Okay. We're going to have to rectify that situation.
Yeah, and that's, like, this is the first one that's, like, older, you know? Because, like, because this one's definitely very Rocky Horror and it's a cult classic. Like, I got such a Rocky Horror vibe, and I'm not, like, the biggest fan of Rocky Horror, but I like it more.
So much more than Rocky Horror. I'm not a huge Rocky Horror fan either. I was friends in high school with people who were like into that whole like thing. Yeah, no, this is definitely better than Rocky Horror in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I like Sweet Transvestite. I like that song, and Time Warp. So I like the big ones, but kind of like Singing in the Rain.
I like the Meatloaf song.
Who does he play?
The boyfriend on the motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Why? Oh my god, they even had, like, a motorcycle character in both of them.
Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, wow. It's very similar.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same era.
Hot Patootie.
Yeah, I like that one. I only started watching Rocky Horror after Glee covered it, though.
I knew you were going to say that.
And I like the Glee version better, so...
No, I watched Rocky Horror way too young. I probably saw Rocky Horror when I was in, like, 5th grade. And, yeah, I had friends in high school that were way into it, like... Like, I went to a couple of, like, we went to the movies and, like, dressed up and did the whole thing. Yeah, like, I did that a couple times. I'm not a fan of the people who are fans of it, if that makes sense. Like, just that whole culture around it. At least the ones down here in Miami, like, was just not a good scene. But I like the show well enough. I definitely like this better. I like Little Shop better. I think it was more entertaining and funnier. Yeah,
it was way more goofy.
Yeah, for sure.
And, like, it kind of reminded me of, like, not so much, I mean, I guess kind of the humor, but more of the production of Doctor Who. Like, I knew that I was watching something super cheesy.
I've never watched a single episode of Doctor Who.
I mean, that's fine. It's not everyone's thing. But, just, like, it has such bad effects, even, like, the new stuff, because it's from, like, I think when did Doctor Who start? Like, the 60s? And so, like, they just kept that going, and so the special effects are awful. Yeah. And that's how I felt with this one. Though I was really impressed with Audrey 2's animation. Like, I thought that was...
Well, most of that was practical effects. Like, there was a little bit of CG.
But I mean, like, the lips.
Yeah, there was a little bit of CG, but most of it was practical effects, which I love. I love practical effects over CG any day.
Which is very theatery of us, because when I saw it, it was literally a guy inside of a puppet.
Oh my god,
like, that's
amazing.
How they did it. It was incredible. And then at the... like, you could tell, because the scene where he, like, breaks out of the plant thing, in the play that I saw, his vines were hanging over the pot, and so you could tell that it was someone's legs when he moved him, and he, like, was inside the plant. It was so cool. And I think that's another thing that will get me to see the show whenever it's, like, in the area, or, like, go down to Boston if, like, someone in Boston does it, because... It's just so cool to think about how they made the puppets. And, like, I want to make a puppet so bad. Like, I may just do it in my free time. Just because, like, I just want to Like, there was a part in, I don't know if it's Grow For Me or, like, right after Grow For Me, but when Andrew came out, he had, like, a pot with the, not, like, the littlest plant, but, like, the next size up when it was growing, and it looked like he was holding it, and then the plant moved, so obviously he had a fake hand around, so it looked like he was holding the pot, and then his hand was up inside the plant, like, as the puppet. And, like, I just want to see, like, how different people interpret it. Because it was so cool. Like, at first when it came out and then it moved, I, like, looked at it like, is anyone... How did... What? And then I realized it was a fake hand. Like, it looked so realistic. It was so crazy.
That's awesome.
So, like, it's just one of those shows that it would be cool to see how they do things. Like, how they do the chandelier drop. Or, like, how they do the barricade in Les Mis. Like, it's just cool to see how different people interpret it.
You haven't seen Les Mis live?
I worked on Les Mis live, yeah.
Okay.
I have.
So, for me, the barricade wasn't even the most impressive part. The most impressive part for me was when this guy, like, commits suicide, that he, like, jumps off.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how it was done. Like, I don't know if they do it differently for each production or whatever, but when I saw it, they basically, like, hoisted him, like, on on bungees, and the screen behind it just looked like he was falling, and it was like if you saw, like, an
weird.
Yeah, I know, it was super weird. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. So it looked like you were looking from, like, above
the top,
of him falling, and it was just literally him, like, flailing and, like, falling into it. It was so cool. Like, that is
weird.
One thing from that show, like, I will never forget is that scene, because I thought it was so insane.
That's super cool, because when we did it, he just, like, it was a light cue, because he just, like, leaned back, and then we went to a blackout, so it looked like he was gonna fall over the edge.
Okay,
I did, it wasn't technically community theater, because the theater I worked at wasn't community theater, but it was, like, kind of half and half. So it didn't have, like, the biggest budget, but it also didn't have the smallest budget. Yeah, but that's how, like, they interpreted it.
I don't think I saw a tour. I saw it out west, in West Florida. I don't think it was a tour. I think it was just, like, I don't want to say it was a community theater either. I don't know, but it was really good. It was such a good show.
Well, I mean, when I saw it on the Cape, that technically is a professional theater.
Okay.
So it may have just been one of the, like, professional theaters in the area.
Could be. I don't know. I have to find the playbill I don't even know if it's a playbill.
They're always called a playbill.
Okay.
It's like Kleenex.
Gotcha. But yeah, the effects, at least in the movie, I can't imagine the show. The effects in the movie for Little Shop were great, just because it was all practical effects versus... Because it was the 80s, I mean. Except for when he electrocutes him. That was definitely...
That was awful!
It was bad.
It was one of those really moments where I, like... Because I'm so into theater and stuff, I have a really high suspension of disbelief. Like, you can pretty much tell me anything, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I believe it.
Yeah.
But that was a moment where it just, like, pulled me out. I was like, okay. That's
gave
just squiggles on a screen.
It gave me very Darth Vader getting electrocuted.
Yes!
Like, that's the feel that I got. And it was just like, wow.
You're like, okay.
That was a lot. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and I love the music, so Alan Menken, you know.
The only thing... Okay, I do have one complaint about the movie, even though it's one of my new favorites.
Okay.
I do not like the fact that Audrey and Seymour lived. I think that is stupid, because in the show...
Oh, they don't live in the show?
No, they get eaten by Audrey, too! And then they come out, and, like, I don't know if this was just the production I saw, but, like, the song Don't Feed the Plants... So they, because you listened to the
it was soundtrack. Definitely cut from the movie.
Yeah, and that's because in the show, the guy that's trying to buy Audrey 2 buys Audrey 2, and
Audrey
then
2 is
they
the
distribute.
Plant, by the way, I know that we've spent the last hour talking about the show. Audrey 2 is the plant that's eating people in the show.
Yeah, if you don't know this show, this has been so confusing for you.
I'm so sorry for you guys.
We're bad podcasters, apparently. But, so the guy at the end of the movie buys that Seymour doesn't let buy Audrey too. In the show, he buys Audrey too because Seymour gets eaten. And because Audrey gets eaten, he still pulls her out, but then she dies, and then she's like, "No, Seymour, I want to be with you forever, and if I'm a part of the plan, I'm forever with you." It's stupid.
Wow.
It's stupid. Yeah, it was dumb. So then he like feeds her to him, and then there's that song where he like shoots Audrey too, and he's like, and that. Like, I don't remember the rest of the song, but he does that. And then, so he tries to shoot her. Like, that whole scene that's in the movie, that happens in the show. I sound like that guy, that Aliens guy that's, like, looking around with the stuff behind him right now. Right? And
that
so...
That does look like a crazy person, people. You can't see her, but she looks like a crazy person right now.
It's a weird show, man.
So at the end of the show, because Seymour's trying to kill the plant for eating Audrey.
And then there's a point in the song where he's like, I can't kill you outside, but you're like vulnerable inside. And then he climbs in and then Audrey eats him. And then that guy comes and like starts snipping off pieces of Audrey too, so that he can sell them so that they become in like every household in America. And then at the end, after the official show is ended, but it's like right before the curtain call.
Okay.
Is Don't Feed the Plants, and all the people that got eaten, so Oren, Audrey, Mushnick, and Seymour, they all come out, and they have, I don't know if it was just this production, but they had like plant costumes, but they looked like, yeah, it was super cool, but they looked like, the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Like, they had like a headpiece on them that looked kind of like the Demogorgon, but also kind of like Audrey. It was super cool. And then they come out and sing Don't Feed the Plants. Like, that's the moral of the story, is don't feed the plants.
Okay.
So, I liked that ending a lot more. But that's because I don't like things to be tied up with a pretty bow sometimes. Unless it's Downton Abbey. Listen,
we'll talk
I know.
about that another
but at least
time.
Mary and Matthew are together. That's all I care about.
We'll talk about that another day. Just get through the next, like, season and a half, and then we can talk.
I've already watched a season and a half since our last episode.
You have a problem. I mean, to be fair, I watched 3 seasons of Breaking Bad since our last episode. So.
And your seasons are longer.
Are they? Maybe.
Are they more than 7 episodes?
Yeah, they're more than 7 episodes.
Yeah.
So. And I watched the first 2 episodes of Stranger Things. And the first 2 episodes of Good Omens. Which is really good. You should watch that. Okay, so I think we're good to leave it off here.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I don't know how much we talked about the musical, to be honest. I feel like a lot, but we also got off the rails a lot.
Guys, I mean, when it comes down to it, this is obviously just our opinions. We are not professionals, you know.
No.
We would love for you to take our advice, but don't always take our advice. You know, listen to the show, and if you like it, great. If you don't, great. And we'd love to hear from you. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at SincerelyUsPod. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at _EenieMeenie. That's INYMEENY.
And as a lot of you may have noticed, we actually have a new logo, which is super exciting. We had Cinegenic Art design it for us, and you can follow her on Twitter at CYNEGETICART. And we just are so excited that she did this for us, and I am so excited that I have a little teeny avatar of me.
It's adorable. I hope you guys like it. We are in love with it, and she is amazing. If you guys need anything, you can find her on Twitter.
Absolutely, she's incredible. Oh, and of course my handles. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm going to start tweeting, I promise.
I don't believe you.
I promise. And if I promise, it means I have to do it.
Okay.
But you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca Eddows, BECCAEDDOWS. And remember, don't feed the plants.
Sincerely, us.